I will not be supporting this local law. I feel that we as a body should not be voting for our own pay raises. I think that in the past it's always been, or most of the time has been, that councils have voted for pay raises for the subsequent council and administration. Although legal, I don't think it's ethical. I will not be supporting that on one reason. I also am not going to be supporting this because I do believe the increase, especially in the area of the committee chairmanship, was an excessive increase from 5,000 to 15,000. I think that was a little above board. It should be a little less. I know there are some workers that you guys do a good job. I'm not going to. Again, this is not a criticism of the work that you do, because I know all of you work hard. But I just think that that we have a responsibility to be a little bit more prudent on the decisions, which leads me to say that when you do take this job or you run for this office, okay, there's a salary posted, and if you don't want that salary or it's not enough for you, in spite of the amount of work that you put into it, don't run. That's the bottom line.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Tuesday. Tonight I want to talk about the pay raises that the Yonkers City Council voted on for themselves today. The meeting went pretty much how all these meetings go, right? Whenever there's something that's they're up to vote for and there's opposition, people are upset about it, people go to voice their opposition, and it seems like it falls on deaf ears and it moves forward anyway, right? So this is just another meeting in the city council chambers tonight. Good evening, I'm Freddie Vasquez. Again, the Yonkers City Council tonight voting to give themselves and the mayor a raise. The raise would be retroactive for the mayor, which was probably the one specific detail that everyone was really upset about. But overall, they felt that the raise were, the council being tone deaf, as Eileen O'Connor said. Mike Cater was up there, the former Yonkers City Council. He addressed the council on the pay raises, but he specifically addressed the current city council president as saying that you ran on, integrity and that you weren't going to be taking advantage of these perks. You criticized me, and I'm referring to Mike Cater, for, possibly having family members working for the city. And since you've been in office, it seems like all you've done besides extended term limits is seek to benefit yourself, self-enrichment. So that was Anthony Moranti, who the only council member to vote no, and also said that he would be giving up $500 a month to charity instead of taking the money. I want to go and show you Mike Cater, former city council president, and what he had to say. Mike Cater is looking to run for city council president again. He's, made that, clear, I believe, people are talking about it, but I believe that he is looking to run, which is why we see him now at the meeting, right? For a while, Mike Cater has been very silent. He's been dealing with, his lawsuits that he has against the city and certain other people, although I'm hearing that certain individuals that were once being sued by Mike Cater are no longer being sued. I believe he dropped the mayor from his lawsuit and other people. So, deals are being made is what people are saying, backroom deals, and maybe they're looking to help Cater get in and replace city council president Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, because, she can sometimes be independent and have a mind of her own. And when she has expressed that independence, she has been the subject of attacks, right? Like you see with Freddie Vasquez on the Newswire and other attacks that may be coming out later and that I'm going to stay quiet about right now. But I want to show Mike Cater, and let's hear what he had to say.
Yonkers, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, City Council President Bellamy, my former colleagues on the council, Thank you for this opportunity to address you today. I stand before you with a matter of great concern for the residents of Yonkers and our shared commitment to ethics and transparency in governance. Council President Bellamy, you entered office with promises of upholding these principles, yet as we approach your third year of your tenure, it is disheartening to observe a stark contrast between rhetoric and reality. The cornerstone of your campaign was ethics, but regrettably, actions to date have fallen short of that noble commitment. Your legacy is emerging, and it is worrisome that the only notable achievements are the extension of term limits and a self-imposed pay raise. These decisions are not only
Mr. Cater, can you specify what item of the agenda you're speaking to?
the pay raise, Mr. Deputy Clerk. The reason why everyone else is here. I appreciate being cut off.
That upset Mike Cater there as he was cut off by the Deputy City Clerk, Mike Ramadelli. And he asked him, what are you here to speak about, right? And I think that happened because of what Mike Cater said, in regards to the current city council president's legacy. In the very beginning, it was excitement, the first Black city council president. Let's roll with that, right? And what will be her legacy as the first Black city council president? And Mike Cater saying that all that will be is the term extension. She alone introduced the term limit extension legislation, which then everyone except for Moranti and Corazon Pineda Isaac, who were running for mayor at the time, voted on. And we see that that did benefit the mayor as he was able to run again and he won, right? But that's also going to benefit other individuals like Moranti, which is why he's saying he's going to give up that money because he will be running again also and taking advantage of the fourth term. But Mike Cater said also, beside the term extension, your legacy will be the pay raises and the self-enrichment, that, you guys have done since being on the city council now and city council president specifically, right? So what have they done? And this is, one of the comments I was making as this was live. They say that they deserve it. They work many hours and, they do this and they do that and they attend this. But what actually are they doing? The only time we get to witness any type of, work by the city council is at meetings, where many times they're ignoring what we want and they're doing whatever the hell they want, right? And that is the only time we get to see them work. So what other times are you referring to? What events are you referring to attending? If you're talking about ribbon cutting ceremonies and you're talking about, other political events and supporting other candidates and stuff, because that's what we see, or attending galas. I mean, listen, that's to me perks of the job. You're getting paid to be out chilling, doing ribbon cuttings, attending galas, and you get to drive there in your city provided vehicle with the free gas that you have been given to by the taxpayers, as well as the free insurance in the event that you get into another accident. I mean, what more do you want? You're getting a salary already that's higher than the average resident salary, or at least for some of them, and maybe for all the council members, right? Because they don't just get their regular city council salary. They also get an additional stipend of, as of now, $10,000 in addition if they are on a committee. And with the pay increase, that stipend will go up to $15,000 just for being on a committee. And what do they do on these committees? For example, Tasha Diaz, she is the chair of the education committee. Now, what are you doing to earn that additional $10,000? The last time we saw her chair a meeting, she was trying to award a contract to a semi-relative or, a make-believe relative, someone that she's very close to's nephew. Multi-million-dollar contract to install bulletproof glass. That's all we've seen. And yet you get $10,000 just for that. So it's not just, I believe, the $48,000 that the regular council members get. They also get another $10,000 for being on a committee. And then there are other ways that they receive income, like Shanae Williams, sitting on the board of this Yonkers Larkin Garage Inc. that many people don't know about. Yet she gets an additional $52,000 a year. So they're getting a lot of money. They're getting a lot of perks as it is, again, with the cars and other preferred treatments. They're able to funnel grant money to people that they want and their friends and even boyfriends. They're able to help and support their friends and families' businesses to get up and running quicker than normal. And that's led to some problems. And I'll be talking about that in regards to fires that have happened here in Yonkers, as well as the conditions of some of these businesses after being inspected. And there's a common theme among them all. They're owned by people that are connected. But what are they really doing for that time that they say that they deserve this money for, that we're, meeting and going here and there? What is it? Are they clocking in? Can we see these hours? Can you give us some more, details about what it is exactly that you do? Right?
Thank you. Should I take it from the top?
From the top, tippy top.
Okay. Council President Bellamy, your legacy is emerging, and it is worrisome that the only notable achievements are the extension of term limits and a self-imposed pay raise. These decisions are not only unpopular, but also highly controversial, touching the nerve with the very residents whose interest you pledged to represent. Our community deserves a leader attuned to their needs, not one who appears tone deaf to the genuine concerns of hard-working families. You came into office on the heels of the 2020 presidential elections. You shattered a glass ceiling. The expectation was for you to elevate the city council to new heights. Unfortunately, what we have witnessed instead is a pattern of self-enrichment, particularly through this anticipated pay raise and of family hirings. By supporting these pay increase, you will shatter another glass ceiling by becoming the highest paid city council president in New York State. While breaking barriers is commendable, it should not come at the expense of the public trust. Our community needs a council president who prioritizes welfare of its residents over personal gain. I am wrapping up my comments, Mr. Deputy Clerk. Thank you. Council President Bellamy, I implore you to reconsider your priorities and refocus on the principles that brought you into public service in the first place. Hardworking families are currently waiting on food pantry lines wrapped around corners and struggling to make ends meet, while you stand to make over $100,000 plus city perks for a part-time job. These resources should be reallocated to where the residents need the resources. I thank everyone for their time. Have a good evening.
That's Mike Cater, folks.
So Kim Kardashian is getting a lot of heat after Taylor.
Mike Cater was very upset there. He didn't like the bell. He didn't like being interrupted by Mike Ramadelli. So, one of the things that he said is that you're getting over $101,000 for a part-time job, plus the other perks that come along with it, while city residents are lined up, wrapping around blocks and food pantry lines. And we see them throughout the city of Yonkers. And they post pictures of this, right? They like, look at what we're doing. We're giving all this food because so many people are in need. And while we are giving them food because that's what we do, that's why we deserve more money, we're going to vote on raises for ourselves. But hey, we're providing people with food, with free food. They're standing out there in the cold. Again, the average resident in the city of Yonkers, according to the mayor not too long ago, makes $35,000 a year. Most people don't make, $100,000, or at least in the city of Yonkers, are not making $100,000 for their full-time job. Some people have two and are still not making that amount. They don't get free cars. They don't get all these other perks. They don't get to be involved in businesses that you guys are privy to, business opportunities that you are aware of because you are in the know and take advantage of in order to increase your wealth. That should not be what public service is about. But it seems like our elected officials have learned to utilize their positions not to represent those that voted them in, but to represent their own financial interests for as long as they can. And it's time that we wake up and we see what exactly they are doing. Are they representing you? I want to show Eileen O'Connor also. She was up there. Eileen O'Connor is a district leader, I believe, a ward leader, and was also with indivisible, a very influential political group.
Good evening. My name's Eileen O'Connor, and I wanted to address the mayor and city council salary raises. We've all come through a really tough time with the pandemic ravaging our neighborhoods and families, inflation at a 40-year high, and recent Yonkers tax increases. We look to our elected officials to model decency and behavior that lets us know that they know that many folks are struggling. The raise that the mayor asks for and the retroactive pay that the city council seeks feels really tone deaf to me and to many others. The raise that the city council is asking for, to me, seems fair. Getting a retroactive pay, getting that retroactive pay is not. I believe it should go forward, start forward in the new year. The raise that the mayor in this city of 212,000 people is asking to get $228,000 is nearly what the mayor of New York City, who governs a city of 8 million people, that's almost what the mayor of New York City is making. Then to ask for retroactive pay, that boggles my mind. There is no contract that expired here. The whole idea of retroactive pay, it's like, this is not a union, you know, this.
That's a good point. I mean, they're saying there, what is the reason for the retroactive? And I believe that they want the retroactive to go back to 12 years for the mayor. 12 years. And so Eileen O'Connor, and you can see Reverend Margaret Coleman in the background there shaking her head in agreement, you're not in a union. There's no contract, that, you sign and you get retro, and, speaking of these raises, it's also disheartening for many people, specifically those who are in CSEA 9169, who are still awaiting their contract to be finalized. They want their increases. Many of our, employees here have just recently received their contracts and their pay increases. And now here's the city council, but they're doing this before they're even given the CSEA a new contract, the biggest union in Yonkers. And they have been speaking up about this. Where are contracts? They're making comments on my page, on Instagram, on Facebook. Where is Alberto Velasquez, the CSEA president? Why don't we have our contract yet? And here is the Yonkers City Council giving them up to as much as a 46% pay increase. I want to read this article really quick by the Yonkers Ledger to talk in more detail. I want to show more detail of exactly how much they're going to be getting in their pay increases. I mean, wouldn't you love to just be able to vote on a pay increase at your job, right? Wouldn't you love to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go into work tomorrow and I'm going to vote yes to give myself a huge pay increase. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Let's get together with my colleagues. What do you think, colleagues? Should we vote to get a pay increase? Wouldn't you love that? Not many people in the private sector are getting pay increases like that. And it's all many times based on their performance, not just because, hey, this person in this city or this town who holds a similar position is making this much, so should I. It's only fair. Why do you deserve that? The city of Yonkers has unique needs like our schools. I remember the cheerleading program in Roosevelt got canceled because they couldn't get $8,000 for mats. And so the Yonkers City Council is going to give themselves these major increases, plus the petty cash that they get to use to refurbish their office, to throw elaborate events, like when Tasha Diaz spent $2,000 on chocolate candy bars. We, the taxpayers, pay for that, like when Tasha Diaz renovated her entire office, putting a 75-inch screen TV, brand new, in her office, as well as a brand new refrigerator, courtesy of the Yonkers taxpayers. And here we are, another raise. Let's vote on it. Of course. Why not? 2 items on the Yonkers meeting agenda for today, December 12th, raise the annual salaries for the mayor and the Yonkers City Council. Each city council member will see a larger paycheck come next term starting on January 1st, 2024, or retroactively to that date if there are delays in administration filing at the state level. Oddly, the mayor's compensation increase goes even further back, an entire year to start of 2023. I think Margaret Coleman Mass 12. And Mayor Mike Spano sees by far the greatest growth in his compensation. Currently, Mayor Spano receives $156,000 a year of taxpayer money to perform his duties. Upon adoption of item number 5 on this week's council agenda, that number balloons to a whopping $228,500. That's a 46% increase, whereas the cost of living adjustment for 2023 was a historic high of 8.7 only. The city council members designated as part-time workers all see raises as well, but the pay scales varies by title and duties. City Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy gets a 19% bump from $74,000 to $88,000 per year. The Majority Leader Tasha Diaz and Minority Leader Mike Breen go from $63,000 to $73,000 per year, and the remaining members get a $10,000 increase, raising their base pay to $58,000 per year. Additionally, serving as chair of any committee awards that member another $15,000 a year, up for only $5,000. So, for example, next year, Majority Leader Diaz stands to earn $88,000 for that title, and as chairpersonship of the 2 committees will receive an additional $30,000. Right? For comparison, the larger city of Buffalo, New York, had pay raises approved for that next year. In it, Mayor Byron Brown goes up to $178,519 from $158, and the city council members to $84 from $75. So they didn't see these significant increases, but $228,000 for Mayor Mike Spano. And again, I don't really know what they do. I mean, yes, we're told that this is what but what are they really doing? I mean, there are people out there waking up super early, getting on a bus, getting to their job, doing physical, hard manual labor, coming home on that bus exhausted after 9-10 hours, and they're not making half of what these individuals are making. Many people in the city of Yonkers can't afford the rent increases that are going on here. At least if you guys want to raise, can you at least keep the rents down, keep the taxes down, keep the housing market stable? Because now the housing prices are going crazy. But what have you done for the residents? Look at Sawmill River Road. How long has that street from Palmer to Ashburn been in that condition? Couple years now? Who runs that district? And what about all the residents that have reached out to me because their district representative is not responsive? What are you guys doing? Come on. You get free food from all these restaurants that you have these ties to. I hear on Tuesday you have to check out the spread. You guys eat good. Guys get trips to Somos, Puerto Rico. You get these elaborate parties thrown for you, all this campaign money raised for you through these developers. I mean, really? It's not fair. While people are getting fired for retaliatory reasons, right on holidays, during the holidays, people are still waiting for their raises and their contracts. People are still trying to find a job because these jobs that you guys said were going to be coming to Yonkers with all this development have not materialized. Unless, of course, you are someone that lives in Connecticut or Jersey or Vermont, Philadelphia. You're finding work here. Or maybe you just came from across the border. You're finding work here in Yonkers. But many residents are not. Many residents are opting to leave. Shanae Williams, what have you done in your district that's been developed? Businesses have been forced to close down. Like daycare centers forced to close because of developments. Families having to scramble to find somewhere to place their kids. Creating more of a struggle for people who are already working hard to try and make ends meet somehow. People are reaching out to me in regards to the new developments, like the Apex and the other one on Main Street, I forget what it's called, right across from where they're going to build that new, McQuestion's going to build that new one. People who are there living in one of the units that were set aside to be, for those who qualify for affordable housing. Well, their rents are going up significantly, but not their pay. See, they don't get to go into work the next day after they're notified by the management company that their rent will be increased by $500 a month or more. They don't go to their job and say, you know what, because of this, I'm going to vote on a raise. I got to keep up with the cost of living. You guys are the ones creating the cost of living to go up by bringing in luxury rentals, by bringing in movie studios, by bringing in people from all over the state of New York and even outside with higher incomes who are looking to now live in these luxury rentals that many are complaining about are supposed to be luxury, but they're not. A lot of shoddy work being done. Luxury is just a word. It's a term. There's no true luxury, but the prices are luxury. The cost of rents, right? But again, people don't get to go into work and say, I'm going to vote on a raise for myself because my rent has gone up. They don't have that luxury. Instead, they have to figure it out. They have to find another job, or they just have to move out of that place and find somewhere cheaper. And sometimes that means leaving Yonkers. So what have you done? And these are buildings that I'm talking about in Shanae Williams' district. She's all excited. She's going up to the county now. They all sent her off with a great words. All of them had great words. Even Tasha Diaz, who has been very rude and disrespectful to Shanae in meetings live publicly, was all nice. Because at the end of the day, it's all a show. They all have to do what their handlers tell them to do. And that is their reward. Their handlers are saying, go ahead, vote yes. Screw what the people say. It doesn't matter. It matters what we say. It matters what you're doing for us. And so we're going to reward you by allowing you to vote on these crazy high increases, because that's how we pay you nowadays. We can't give you a Mercedes-Benz. We can't give you money to pay your college bills and loans. We can't give you money to buy property. You saw what happened with Sandy and Nabi. So be happy with the pay increases. Be happy with being placed on these committees that nobody know about, but you're going to make extra money. We're going to allow you to do your little businesses here on the side, not really do a lot of work. Don't worry. Just show up when we tell you. You want to help your boyfriends or your family members or someone who might be sliding you some money? Go ahead. Enrich yourselves. And those are their rewards for voting yes on all of these zoning changes that have allowed these developments to go up all over the West Side, primarily, to go up in these smaller communities, to go up higher, to go up with less parking than normally required, to break all kinds of, rules and pass zoning laws. They've approved yes, yes, yes to all of them, allowing for these developers to come in here and enrich themselves. So this is their reward. Remember, they voted on term limit extensions. They need to be rewarded. They can't just give them an envelope of cash. That's evidence. But you can give them a pay raise. So that's how it's done these days. And that's what it's all about. Do they really deserve that? And if they feel like the pay is too low and they can't do it, then don't. Then don't. Some of you have second jobs. Some of them with the city, like the city council president works for, and I'm not picking on the city council president, but she works for Municipal Housing Authority of Yonkers, Macy. I hear she makes a whopping $160,000 there. Will Tasha Diaz still qualify for her affordable apartment over at Jefferson Terrace now? Or Towers, whatever it is? Or does it matter? Or will that be another affordable housing scandal? Is she going to rent that out after she buys herself a house somewhere? Or maybe she already did. Now she rents it out to her kids. So they've been enriching themselves. They are continuing to enrich themselves, and this is all about enriching themselves while the average people or the average person in Yonkers is struggling to make ends meet. Remember that. They don't represent the people. They've shown that time and time again when the people have come to the city council chambers in opposition of a new development, in opposition of changes to term extension limits, right? That's all fallen on deaf ears. And today is no different. If you're in the in crowd, you succeed. If you're not in the in crowd, you don't succeed. Check out some of the posts that I put up earlier. I will be discussing in further detail. There were a couple fires today. The fire that I really want to mention is the one on Lockwood. That was it was a building behind a church that was recently purchased by, I don't want to say Dr. Rabadi, because when I say that, he says it's the community. So I guess the community, I don't know what community he's referring to, but I guess the community that goes to the church specifically is their church. But I mentioned Dr. Rabadi because he's more known. He was there at the scene. He was involved with that church and getting that established. It was recently purchased, and some stuff was going on. I'm not sure what happened. They're saying that it was something possibly with the contractor, right? And so, did they get permits? Were there inspections being done by the building department? It's been a lot of fires lately in the city of Yonkers. What's going on? But again, it was maybe the contractor's fault who was doing work. Well, then who were the contractors? And I've seen this before where buildings or homes have gone up, in smoke, fire, a lot of times starting in the roof because of the contractor's negligence. And usually they don't have permits. And at times, more often than not, they don't have insurance. And so fortunately, the clients of mine who had insurance, their insurance company covered it. But when their insurance tried to subrogate, meaning that they want to go after this contractor for now having to pay their insured, the homeowner, to fix their home, they can't. That insurance, that contractor doesn't have insurance. And sometimes this can cause your insurance company to deny your claim if you're not using a licensed contractor. If there was work done, say you did electrical work, you didn't have a licensed guy, you didn't, get proper permits and stuff like that. So, what's going on. And also businesses that have been recently inspected. I know you get mad at me. You got mad, Maui, at me, but, it's all fair in love and politics, man. And by the way, Maui, just so you know, I got a text with that stuff. That text that was sent to me in a text this morning, right? And I'm referring to a post that I put up. It was a screenshot was sent to me in regards to a Westchester County health inspection that was done at the Tony's Deli on Sawmill, which is owned by, I guess, Tony and Maui, right? And so I shared it. It took me over 5 minutes, Maui. I woke up, I went into my bathroom to do my daily routine, sit on the toilet first, check my text messages and emails, and there was boom, and then I posted it. Why? Because you've done the same thing, right? And that's really not why. It's not really to get you back. That's not. But Maui once came to my home, took pictures, and then gave it to the Yonkers Voice and Brian Harrod, where they posted it along with my address, the actual physical address. So, at least I have a reason for posting that stuff. And the reason is, Maui, because there are a lot of things there that, drew red flags, like the shoddy construction work. You pulled the permit. How did the permit close if the construction wasn't done right? In fact, the word used was despair. It was in despair. Ceilings, walls, not built right. And that's not that's apart from the cleaning and sanitation and the equipment and the condition that's being kept in. But my thing was the construction. So when you're connected, you get your permits closed out and you get your business up and running quick, fast. Doesn't matter how the work is done because you're connected. You know the people. They're going to pass you, right? But if you're not connected and if you speak up, then they will come after you regardless how great your business is. Because I can promise you this, Maui, at my daycare center, you could have eaten off the floor. And there was no walls that were in despair or ceilings. There was no contamination. As we cleaned every day, we made sure, right? But the building department still gave us a hell of a time, even doing surprise inspections with the fire marshals, electrical inspector, like if this was a SWAT team, a warrant squad coming in to make an arrest. They searched the entire place, basement, the upstairs area. One of the guys, Jerry, the electrical inspector, the little butterball guy, blonde hair. I got you on the video where you cornered my one of my staff members, a female. You cornered her. You backed her into a corner and asked her, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Are there kids here?" Meanwhile, you're inside and you don't see any kids, but you're cornering a female staff member and asking her this. So this is what they did to me. And this is a business that's much needed because I don't know how many more delis we need. I mean, there are a lot of Italian-American delis. Maybe there are not many that are owned and operated by a Jordanian American, but there are a lot of Italian Americans, delis, right? But daycares, after school programming, UPK, that's what we need. Parents need that. And it was a disruption to a lot of our parents because they held me up, right? Creating this. And I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but they held me up so long that by the time we got done and we finally got a C of O, we got that done with the building department, the Office of Children and Family Services had changed their regulation, and now they wanted a whole complex fire system for child cares with under 50 kids, right? We were only having a max of 21 kids. But prior to that, we didn't need it. And had we not been given such a hard time by the building department, we would have gotten that done and had our license approved before this new change by this office that does nothing with buildings, right? They don't know anything about buildings. It wasn't changed by the city building department. It wasn't changed by the state building codes or even the ICC International or building code, something like that was called, right? It was Office of Children and Family Services. They wanted all daycares now to have this complex fire system, even if they had less than 50 kids, even if it was small, which made no real sense, but we were going to put it in. However, then they finally got to our landlord. So that's what it's all about. That's why I mentioned it, Maui, because I want people to see, because you and Zahi are like this, right? I got pictures of you guys, with your cigars, you, Tony, Zahi, you're the Jordanian mafia over here. You know what I mean? Pop, 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 right? And I remember that guy who would try to pull that weapon out, on me over there at the Castle Royale. You guys are mafioso, wannabe types. You know what I'm saying? And so you guys are connected. And this is, something that the people of Yonkers should know, right? If you're not connected, and on top of that, you don't know what these businesses you're going into, what conditions they're in. You may get, salmonella, or a ceiling might collapse on your head while you're waiting in line for your sandwich, right? Because when they're connected, people get their permits no matter if the work is done right or not. But if they don't like you, they're going to make sure they shut you down regardless how great of a business you have. And that is the point. Again, Maui, that is the point. And you entered my life the minute you entered my street. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Have a beautiful and blessed night. And again, my condolences to Dr. Rabadi. I did reach out to him and I said, I'm sorry to hear about, that. And, because I don't wish destruction on people. I'm not evil like that, but I got to deal with it. Filter. Do they deserve a raise? Anthony Moranti voting no on the pay raise proposal. I believe it is highly unethical, he says. For the council should be voting only on a pay raise for the next administration and the council, not directly to benefit themselves. And I remember when there was the lawsuit for the term limit, right? And the whole argument by Michael Sussman was that, they couldn't do it because it was a benefit to themselves, right? By voting on this term extensions, the council stood to benefit. But I didn't agree with that because technically they still had to run. And if they didn't win, they didn't have a benefit. It wasn't a direct benefit. So I believe the outcome would be what it was. However, this is a direct benefit, right? They're voting yes on it and they're directly getting a pay raise. Like, how do you get to do that? Why didn't I become a politician from day one, man? I'm an idiot. I'm such an idiot, folks. Have a beautiful and blessed week. I'm an idiot, man. Idiot. Should have been a politician. Bye.
Thank Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
In another one, Mr. Rumo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want somebody to want a chicken. So thank you. I'm greedy and I want somebody to want a chicken. So thank you.
But I am the bad guy. But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women. I know you have a lot of women.
But I am the bad guy.
But I'm a councilwoman, so the capacity that I know you in a different capacity. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sandy.
But I am the bad guy.
I'm hoping that.
But I am the bad guy.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Così che hablan español. Così che hablan español. That's a lot of stars. That's a lot of stars.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Let's get it popping.